Okay, so we're going to discuss today some of the historical milestone that's happened in our country and throughout the world here during the succeeding timeline. So first we have here your 18th and the 19th century. Okay, for the 18th and the 19th century, we have here contributions with respect to your physics. Okay, the first one we have Coulomb with his law of electrostatic interaction and the frictional electrostatic instrumentation. Then we have also here Alessandro Volta, which try to discover here the cell or the battery. Then Ørsted, so this is more of something to do with the topic about your magnetism. So Ørsted here try to relate, okay, that electricity here try to generate magnetism. Ampere, on the other hand, okay, stated here that electric, uh, electric, electrical current try to generate your magnetism. Then Ehrman was the first to made measurement of the Earth's magnetism. Okay, next we have here Faraday, on the other hand, try to propose here that your magnetism here try to generate electricity. James Maxwell with his electromagnetic radiation. Hertz, on the other hand, for the detection and identification of your radio waves. Then we have also here Röntgen with the X-ray. We try to pave way for our imaging um, procedures. And up to now, we are using also X-ray here in order for us then to diagnose someone with, especially for the fractures. Okay, for the chemistry, we have here the following. Let's try to have here much of the contribution with the chemistry. So we have Fahrenheit for the discovery of the first mercury thermometer. And as of today, okay, mercury thermometer here is not, or I mean, that one is already phased out because of its danger here, because of the threat here, especially for the toxicity of the mercury. So even in laboratory, all mercury-based equipment, instruments has been phased out already. Then we have here Benjamin Franklin for discovery of your positively and negatively charged particle here. So positive is your cation, and we have also here the anion for our negative charge. Lavoisier, on the other hand, tried to make chemistry here as part of one of the branches of our science. We're trying to make the experiment regarding here combustion or heating, ganon. Another one, we have Cavendish, okay, with the combustion here of oxygen, it's eventually giving rise here to the production of the water. John Dalton with his atomic theory, and we have also here Thomson with discovery of the electron, which is made up of our atom. So we have also here several scientists who try to discover new elements. We have Davy, Johns Jacob, Berzelius, and Gerhardt's for its pioneering in the organic chemistry. So in your part, you have your organic and you have your inorganic chemistry. So organic is more of the naming of the structure of our molecules. Okay, for the field of your biology during the 18th and 19th century, so we have here some of the scientists with their contributions. So we have Robert Hooke with the cell theory. So when speak about the cell theory, stated here that all the living organisms is made up of the cell as the smallest unit. Actually, Robert Hooke here tried to identify the cell here by studying the bark of the tree, where he tried to identify that one under the microscope. We were able to identify the presence of the small boxes or small rooms, which later on is tried to identify those are cell, which eventually comprises here our tissues. And your tissues here try to group to become your organ, and you have your organ as your organ system. So until now, of course, in the cell theory, stay here that all living organism here made up of the smallest unit, primarily made up of the cell. And we have also here Anton van Leeuwenhoek for the discovery of your compound microscope that gave way here for the identification of our microorganisms. So small organism too small, which could not be seen by our naked eye. Carlos Linnaeus, on the other hand, tried to be responsible here for the adoption of the binomial system of naming our organisms. So we are adapting the scientific name, okay, to all our living organisms. So binomial because it's a two name system. So you have your the first name of that is the species is the genus of your organism, and the second name of that would be the species or the specific epithet. So we write scientific name where the first letter of that, the genus part of first name, is capital letter, and all the rest here are small letters. And the genus, the species, I mean the second name, are all written in a small letter. Then, if you try to write that one, you need to italicize, or if not, you can underline. Okay, that's the proper way of writing our scientific name, and has been introduced here by Carlos Linnaeus. Okay, another contribution here we have Charles Darwin with the theory of evolution. So stated here that this is how the different organism here able to survive by adaptation. So more of the survival of the fittest. So only those are able to survive because they're able to fit with the environment, able to adjust, so they're able to survive. So for those na mga organisms wherein they could not adjust, then they die. Another one, we have Louis Pasteur. So Louis Pasteur is known as actually the father of the modern immunology. So Louis Pasteur is known for his several experiments, including here the pasteurization. So pasteurization is being used for inactivation of your microorganisms. Okay, so like you would try to have the pasteurization for our milk products. And another contribution of Louis Pasteur, we have here the anti-rabies vaccine. So in terms of the experimental psychology, we have here Wilhelm Wundt, okay, as pioneering here the experimental psychology. Okay, then we have also here Daniel Hill Williams to try to perform here the first open heart surgery. Crawford Long, we try to use here or try to recommend the use of either in the surgery as our antiseptic. Martinus Benjerenk, on the other hand, tried to be responsible here for the discovery of the first virus, that's your tobacco mosaic virus. Okay, now we go to the 20th century. So we have here the field of physics. We have Albert Einstein for the theory of relativity. We have Rutherford, James Chadwick with discovery of the proton and the neutron. Wolfgang Pauli here with the arrangement of your electrons in an atom, diba? So 1, 2s, 2, 2s, 2s2, something like that. Then we have your Heisenberg with the matrix version of quantum physics. So we have here several other scientists. We have Otto Hahn with discovery of the nuclear fission. So we speak about the fission, so it's try to break, okay, the chemical bond. John Bardeen with theory to explain here the conductivity. Then Ben Horst and Mueller for the use of high temperature conductor. Okay, so the 20th century in terms of the astronomy, so we have here the different discovery. So Edwin Hubble here with the presentation of the galaxy, primarily made up of the aggregates of the stars. So galaxy is made up of different stars. Clyde Tombaugh here for the discovery of the planet na Pluto. Then Jansky, so able to identify here a range of frequency from the outer space. Okay, another one, we have Limiter, Gamov, Alfred Herman with their publication of the Big Bang Theory. Then we have Neil Armstrong, Alden Buss with the first individual were able to first to have their first walk on the moon. Zwicky here with the detection of the possible dark matter evidence. Okay, for the chemistry on the 20th century, so we have here Svet with the paper chromatography. So as of now, we are still using this principle, the chromatography, for the separation of your different substances or two different substances, provided they have a different properties. We can separate your substances even if that one is in the homogeneous solution. If they differ with their properties, like they differ with their size, particle size, they differ with their charge or their solubility. So you just need to carry that one through our chromatography. Then we have here Herovsky with the polarography. Levine, on the other hand, tried to identify here that the sugar component of your DNA is the deoxyribose. So, comparing that one with the RNA would have the ribose. Ano pinagkaiba ni deoxyribose sa ribose sugar natin? Both of them are 5 carbon sugar, so those are pentose na sugar. Okay, but apparently we speak about the DNA, so deoxyribose, wala siyang oxygen. Whereas your ribose here in part of the your RNA, so still have here the oxygen. Then Barley, on the other hand, tried to have the idea about the noble gases can make the compounds. Okay, for the biology, the various here with the idea of the mutation. So we speak about the mutation is just the alteration in the genetic structure of the organism. It might be because of the several environmental factors or even drugs. Then we have here the Watson and Crick for the double helix DNA structure. So our DNA is made up of two strand. Okay, that's we have here the leading and the lagging strand. So helical, they are anti-complementary to each other. Okay, then we have also here Cohen and Boyer with the genetic engineering that would enable them to alter the genetic structure by genetic recombination. So part of the genetic engineering here, so one of the product of that gives rise here to your GMO, genetically modified organism. So like in the case of your Dolly the sheep by Ian Wilmot. Then we have also Ivanovsky, venturing again for discovery of your first virus, which is your tobacco mosaic virus. Janish, on the other hand, tried to introduce here the DNA into your mouse embryo, which eventually leading also to our genetic recombination, genetic engineering. It's a form of genetic engineering where you try to alter the DNA of one organism by introduction of the DNA coming from a host or coming from the donor or coming from other organisms. Okay, for the earth science during the 20th century, we have here the board with discovery of the stratosphere, which try to forms part of the our outer layer of our earth. Matuyama, on the other hand, tried to propose here that the every 100 million years, the earth will have here the reversals through its magnetic field. And another one, we have Richter here with the intensity of the earthquake based on the scale. Okay, some other intervention here we have in terms of the biotechnology during the 20th century. We have here your biogas, biosensor, then a fingerprinting, gene cloning, synthetic skin. In part of the communication, you have your AM radio, cellular phone, communication satellite, fiber optics. Okay, so faster internet connection. May part of the defense, we have your army tank, atomic bomb, neutron bomb, and we have also your tear gas para i-disperse ang mga nagrarally. For the energy, we have your neon lights, nuclear fusion, nuclear power plant, nuclear reactor, solar power. So there's always a risk uh, for our nuclear power plant. Entertainment, you have your animated cartoon film, Betamax, cassette, color TV, CD, motion picture sound, VCD, VHS, and we have also here your video games. For the IT, we have your calculator, you have your floppy disk, laser printer, and you have your computer. Okay, next we go to your information age. So the other name of your information age, this is your digital age or the new media age. So this is already much recent time already where everything here is already under the or with the use of our internet, the computer, primarily that would enable us then to serve and to get information worldwide. So it's more of the flourishing here of our social media because of the internet. So that forms part your information age or the digital age or the new media age where you can get here information. Okay, massive information or vast information through online, through our internet. Okay, but before that one, we have here your Gutenberg Revolution. So we have Johannes Gutenberg. Gutenberg here is responsible for the production of your printing press. This is your movable type of printing. So printing press, so movable type of printing where information has been eventually published through the several materials by means of printing. Okay, so we describe, however, here during this time that information is more of social status. It's because here, in order for you to get a necessary information, so basically you should have, okay, a money of that. So hindi siya cheap ang the way of acquiring the information. So you need to buy something like that. And eventually it's very expensive. We divide here your Gutenberg Revolution as pre-Gutenberg world. Okay, the pre-Gutenberg world here so describes that information was eventually being written in the books. So or the information is being put on the surface. So pwede siyang sa clay, pwede siyang sa wax, parchment, or even your papyrus. Okay, so again, information for that during the time, hindi siya ganun ka available here. Is not an easy access. It's because again, only those who are able to afford to buy the book were able to have that information. And therefore, for those who have that book already, so they can disseminate the information by word of mouth. Then we have also here your Gutenberg Revolution. So this is already the time where you have already here the printing press. So again, they're able then to spread the information through those printed na books. Okay, however here, the first book printed is more of the religious theme. Okay, later on, they have also here, and most of that is already, is written in Latin. But eventually, as tried to spread, okay, the technology because of that, so they were able to have, or able to came up with a local dialect naman. So instead of the Latin, so wherever, kung saang lugar, so they have their own version of that. Okay, with their own dialect. Okay, then eventually, some of the books also here try to contain, aside from the religious na theme, so meron din siyang geographical or even scientific na mga books. Okay, for the scientific na books, okay, so it contains information about illustration of the different human body parts. And we have also here the post Gutenberg world here. So this is already your digital age with your internet. Okay, we have here the rise of our digital age or the information age. So it gives way here because of the following. Okay, so we have here the rise of the digital age. So again, there's already in the advent of our internet and computers. So computers here was then discovered by Charles Babbage. So computers was then used primarily before here. This one is being equipped with computation or calculation. So ginagamit siya para mag-compute lang, not for any other na use or application. Then for the internet, this was then discovered here by Winton Cerf and Robert Kahn. And the internet was then utilized before here by the scientists in order for them to exchange their information, to exchange their idea about scientific matter. Okay, the World Wide Web, on the other hand, was then introduced by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. So the World Wide Web here would allow you to serve information. This is more actually of commercial purpose dati. So when we speak about commercial purpose, so that's why it's being utilized only by the advertisers, so mga businessmen in order for them to sell their products. Electronic mail or the email by V.A. Shiva Ayadurai. So this is an Indian. So this is your electronic mail that would allow you to send a message or information at a faster time. Hindi na siya manual na letter and then try to, diba, send that one through your mail. Okay, then we have also here your Facebook. So Facebook was then discovered here by or launched by Mark Zuckerberg in 2004 in the Harvard University. So the Facebook actually was then first utilized only within the Harvard University. And after that one tried to spread to the other people as or outside the Harvard University. Then Twitter also here was then created by Dorsey Glass, also here Stone and Williams in March 2006. And we consider here your Twitter as the SMS of the internet. So you can post status on that. You can also reply on that. Okay, the Messenger was then originally developed here by the Facebook as its chat box. Okay, in 2008. But after that one, nagkaroon na siya ng, is try to separate out of your Facebook. Okay, the user on the other hand, by launched here by Chad Hurley and Steve Chen in 2005. And then actually that was 2004. But in 2005, okay, they tried to register here the YouTube with its domain and logo. Kaya they were able to acquire here the copyright of that application. Okay, for the Google here, so that would allows you to search information. So this was then developed here by Larry Page and Breen, which are PhD students in the Stanford University. And we have your Instagram where you can eventually post your pictures. This was then created by Seastrom and Krieger in 2010. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.